You guys have voted, and today we're talking about the A to Z archetype, which isn't really archetype actually, but I'll explain later. Right now, we gotta answer the real important question. Could 100 men take on one XYZ dragon cannon? What do you mean that's not what this video is about? It's literally the meme of the 100 people versus the gorilla or whatever. I've just been informed that this video is actually about how good was the A to Z archetype actually. The A to Z archetype was first introduced in October 2003 with the set Magician's Force. This set introduced Union monsters, which basically allowed you to special summon them by equipping them to a specific monster. This first wave of support gave us 3 main deck monsters, which include X Head Cannon, Y Dragon Head, and Z Metal Tank. Even though X Head Cannon was a normal vanilla monster, both Y Dragon Head and Z Metal Tank had the ability to equip themselves to each other and special summon themselves.
I may not have a brain, gentlemen, but I have an idea.
These effects were pretty good at the time. It allowed you to get bodies on board pretty easily. The problem was you had to draw them because there was no way to really search for them, which was pretty important considering the rest of Wave 1 was a bunch of fusion monsters. These fusion monsters include XY Dragon Cannon, which reads must first be special summoned from the extra deck by banishing the above cards you control. Cannot be special summoned from the graveyard. You can discard 1 card, then target 1 face-up spell or trap your opponent controls, destroy that target. XZ Tank Cannon that has the same summoning requirements, but you can discard 1 card and then target 1 face-down spell or trap your opponent controls and destroy that target. YZ Tank Dragon that has the same summoning requirements, but you can discard 1 card and then target 1 face-down monster your opponent controls, destroy that target. And finally, the deck's boss monster, XYZ Dragon Cannon. XYZ Dragon Cannon has the same summoning requirements, only requiring all 3 XYZ monsters, and you can discard 1 card, then target 1 card your opponent controls, destroy that target. This first wave was actually pretty good. Definitely not meta defining, but a solid rogue strategy, and one of the first fusion-based strategies to actually see competitive play. Not requiring polymerization was huge at the time. Plus, as long as you didn't draw the exact same 2 monsters, you could at least end on something due to the variety of fusion monsters they had at their disposal. The problem was 2 of them were extremely situational. Destroying face-up spell and traps and destroying face-down defense position monsters really wasn't that good. Most of the time, you wouldn't even bother fusion summoning unless you had the material for XZ Tank Cannon or had all 3 and you would just make XYZ Dragon Cannon. Unfortunately, this deck got power crept pretty quickly after its release, but it did get new support in November of 2005 with the release of Elemental Energy. They got 2 new main deck monsters in V Tiger Jet, a vanilla normal monster level 4 with 1600 attack and 1800 defense, and W Wing Catapult that has the same effect as all the previous Union monsters, and 2 new fusion monsters including VW Tiger Catapult. This one you can discard a card, then target 1 monster your opponent controls, change that target's battle position, flip effects are not activated. And the deck's new boss monster, VWXYZ Dragon Catapult Cannon, which reads once per turn you can target 1 card your opponent controls, banish that target. When this card declares an attack on an opponent's monster, you can target the attack target, change that attack target's battle position, flip effects are not activated.
That was a bit anticlimactic.
Now this effect isn't really that bad, but the problem is how much it really takes to get there. You need VW Tiger Catapult and XYZ Dragon Cannon. Just imagine using all your resources just to make this thing, and then the following turn you get Raigeki'd. If you're going to make something like this, it better win you the game. A through Z desperately needed an overhaul, and luckily they got it in October 2016 with the release of the structure deck Seto Kaiba. This new structure deck added 3 new main deck monsters in A Assault Core that allowed you to add 1 Union monster from your graveyard to your hand if this card was sent to the graveyard from the field. B Buster Drake that allowed you to add 1 Union monster from your deck to your hand if this card was sent from the field to the graveyard. And C-Crush Wyvern that allowed you to special summon 1 Union monster from your hand if this card was sent from the field to the graveyard. Now, the great thing about these cards is that not only do they work as starters, but when they're equipped to another monster, they also work as solid protection. And that's not all. They also got a field spell called Union Hangar that also works as a solid starter. Union Hangar reads, when this card is activated, you can add 1 Light Machine Union monster from your deck to your hand. Once per turn, if a Light Machine Union monster is normal or special summoned on your side of the field, except during the damage step, you can target one of those monsters, equip 1 Light Machine Union monster with a different name from your deck to that monster. But the Union monster you equip cannot be special summoned this turn. You can only activate 1 Union Hangar per turn.
Hey, that's pretty good.
The interesting part is, the deck's old weakness, not being able to search for the parts that you needed, was now its strength with the addition of these new monsters in Union Hangar. But none of this really matters if what you're making out of this isn't worth making. Luckily, they got 2 new fusion monsters that were definitely worth making. But before we go over them, don't forget to subscribe. It really helps the channel out, and I can't tell you how much I appreciate your guys' support. But enough of that self-promotion BS. Let's get on with the video. The 2 new fusion monsters introduced in this structure deck include ABC Dragon Buster that reads, once per turn, quick effect, you can discard 1 card and then target 1 card on the field, banish it. During your opponent's turn, quick effect, you can tribute this card, then target 3 of your banished Light Machine Union monsters with different names, special summon them. And A to Z Dragon Buster Cannon, which reads, during either player's turn, when your opponent activates a spell, trap, or monster effect, you can discard 1 card, negate the activation, and if you do, destroy that card. During either player's turn, you can banish this card, then target 1 of each of your banished ABC Dragon Buster and XYZ Dragon Cannon, special summon them. This truly might be some of the best support a Yu-Gi-Oh deck has ever been given, making it a true contender and topping regional and YCS events in 2016. But Konami wasn't done yet. They looked at this deck that was competing at a solid level and said to themselves, you know what this deck really needs? Another convoluted boss monster that takes way too much material to make. But this time, we're going to add a archetype that doesn't work with the deck at all. In February of 2018, Konami released the set Legendary Duelist Ancient Millennium that included Armed Dragon Catapult Cannon. This card required VWXYZ Dragon Catapult Cannon and a Armed Dragon level 7.
Hey! Yeah? What the hell is this?
This card never saw competitive play, and in fact, I don't even believe that it's ever been summoned. And if you go in the comments section and say you have, you're a freaking liar. But enough of that, let's talk about an actual playable card. In 2020, A to Z got a massive combo enabler in Union Carrier, introduced in Duelist Overload. This monster allowed you to equip a monster from your deck with the same type or attribute. Unfortunately, this card was just a little too good, and it got banned in December of 2022. Because of this and power creep, the deck started slowly fading away from the competitive scene. Now, up to this point, the original XYZ monsters were pretty much unplayable until they received retrains in March of 2025 with the release of Maze of the Masters. In this set, they received 3 new main deck monsters, including Z Zillion Tank, Y Yarhead, and X Cross Cannon. In addition, they also received a brand new boss monster in XYZ Hyper Dragon Cannon. Now, did these retrains save the deck and made them competitive again? No, not really. It was just a little bit too late. Now, something seems off about this, right? Like, remember when I said at the beginning of the video that technically this isn't an archetype? Well, it's because none of the cards give a archetype name. We say A to Z because the deck literally goes to A to Z, but otherwise, the cards themselves never really mention it in their effects. In all their card texts, they either refer to a specific card or a light machine union monster. So technically, this isn't an archetype, but I still have to answer, how good was A to Z actually? They were pretty good. Not requiring polymerization as a early fusion deck definitely gave them an advantage compared to other fusion based strategies at the time. Their main problem was that they kept getting new boss monsters that required way too much resources to actually be worth playing. On the other hand, it definitely wouldn't take that much to make them competitive again. So just another round of support might actually do it. But that's all I have for you guys today. Don't forget to subscribe. But before you go, don't forget to check out my friends and today's sponsor, Hollow Games. No matter if you compete, collect, or invest, Hollow Games has you covered. Check out their link down below, and I will see you guys next time.